10 years ago, Disney gifted us the best live action film, Cinderella. And to celebrate, I did my mandatory yearly watch. Hey y'all, my name's Jordan. Welcome back to my channel. I love watching movies and then I review them by answering 3 different categories. The one thing I liked, the one thing I hated, and the one thing I would change about it. And today I'm reviewing Disney's live action Cinderella. So go grab your popcorn, your candy, and let's dive on in. Okay, if you don't know the plot to Cinderella, go watch my other Cinderella video. But let's be honest, you should already know the plot. The one thing I liked about this film was the casting. Now, I was going to do a bonus section today for Cate Blanchett, but then as I was watching and really thinking about the movie, I was like, no. All the cast was great. Everyone was phenomenal. To be honest, I feel like it's really rare for me to see a perfect cast, especially with all these live action Disney remakes. That said, I do want to talk about Cate Blanchett just for a quick second. She stole the film. Absolutely stole the film. She said, Cinderella, more like Lady Tremaine. She brought so much depth and grace and menace to Lady Tremaine. Every single time she entered a room, she demanded attention. And she got my attention. Just a spectacular performance by her. And as far as the rest of the cast, I don't think anyone was out of place. Lily James was made for this role. When I saw the movie for the first time, I didn't know who Lily James was. To me, she was Cinderella, not just an actress playing Cinderella. And then contrast that with Beauty and the Beast when they casted Emma Watson for Belle. I mean, the whole time I was like, no, you Emma. And I thought Richard Madden was a great choice for the prince. The first time I saw the movie, I didn't understand the appeal of him. The only thing that stood out were his deep, dark blue eyes. That was obviously boosted in the editing room. But the more that I watched the movie, the more I started to realize why they chose him. He has this gentle, humble, masculine presence that was really good for this role. And of course, there are some standout performances that I just don't have time to go into, but I do want to shout out Helen Bonham Carter. Sometimes her name's always hard for me. The stepsisters, the mother, the father, everyone. It's clear they are very intentional with who they were casting in this movie. The one thing I hated about this movie was the CGI animals. I didn't like the animals in the first one, and now I don't like the animals now. I do think they improved with the animals in this movie because they made them more of a nod to the original movie rather than being 50% of the films. But oh my goodness, they looked atrocious. I'm sorry, but Garfield was looking better, and he came out a decade before this movie came out. But you know what? Maybe the mice walked so the Lion King could crawl. But seriously, this wasn't cutting edge tech. For example, Disney has created a realistic Aslan. Ooh, Aslan. Like, I get that the budget wasn't really towards the CGI. Obviously, that dress and other things. But I do think they nailed the effects. So I'm like, okay, if you can do effects right, then can you just put a little bit more effort in these mice? So I had a hard time trying to figure out the one thing that I would change. In my first Cinderella review, I talked about how the fairy godmother should have at least addressed Cinderella's distress before she got her ready for the ball. And honestly, it was putting a band-aid on the abuse she was enduring. And this film didn't really fix that in the scene, but actually she confided a little bit more with the prince in the beginning of the movie, even though she didn't know that was the prince. It was a very short moment, but she was able to express her struggles with the prince, and he was able to empathize with her like she had a friend. What this scene did was fill in the gaps where the original animation couldn't have more of the prince due to the animation limitations. So I do appreciate that. But then I thought, okay, so maybe should that scene have been a little bit longer? I mean, Cinderella doesn't really have anyone else that she can talk to. She doesn't have anyone really to confide in. I think maybe adding another confidant with her or for her would have been really nice. But then I was thinking, no, I do think that there are a lot of people who actually do go through abuse like this, and they have no one to confide in with. And maybe that's why Her kindness and courage in this movie is very powerful. So actually, I don't think I would change anything with this film. I feel like this film took everything that the original wanted to do but couldn't due to the limitations, and they enhanced it into something beautiful. And you can tell this was a passion project. You know, this was one of Disney's first few live action films right before they started seeing that, oh, this makes money, let's start churning them in, let's get some cookie cutter things going because we need to make more money. And because this was one of the first, you can really tell that every scene was made with care. They developed characters and storylines rather than implementing new elements that just breaks the heart of the story. And there was no overly polished, emotionless girl boss princess here. Cinderella actually broke down multiple times in this movie, yet she still clung to her mom's wisdom and pushed forward. One of the most impactful scenes in this movie was when she forgave Lady Tremaine. That moment had real emotional weight, and it was one of the best build-ups in a live action that I've seen from Disney. I think this is sad to say, but I just don't think Disney is actually going to top this remake. I mean, right now they're just so focused on building cookie cutter live actions, just getting some extra money. What made Cinderella so different is it was just made with passion. Overall, Cinderella is one of the best live action remakes to this date. Every single time I watch it, I give it 5 stars on Letterboxd. I'll even give it a heart. And that's because it was made with love and care. So if Disney just paused for a second, evaluated this movie, analyzed why people actually like it, I think they would actually course correct themselves in future remakes. And what sets Cinderella apart is that it creates magic. It doesn't try to capitalize on nostalgia. All it does, it elevates the original story. And it's films like this that reminds me why I love cinema in the first place. And with that said, if you like honest movie reviews, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Help me get to 1,000. I post videos every Wednesdays and Saturdays, and make sure to hit that bell for notifications so you don't forget when I post. How convenient. Also, I want to know what you want me to review. So go ahead and drop those suggestions in the comments. And I do have a letterbox, so you can go ahead and follow me and see what I'm watching, what I might be reviewing. I will post my username in the description. And that's it for today. So go stock up on your popcorn and your candy, and I'll see you in the next review.